And a very good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to the Friday edition of Sundays. Sundays? No, Gudday Grenada. I am George Grant. It's the 21st day of the month. Yes, sirree. The countdown continues. On the 25th, Christmas Day. Got your plans? I know what mine are, and I want to tell you. Folks, I'm asking, please, that you allow me to have Christmas Day and Boxing Day off. I don't too often get that sort of time off, and I would really appreciate it if I just did not have to sit in this chair on those 2 days. So I do hope that you understand, that you don't hold it against me, okay? This morning, by the way, we do have an abbreviated program for you. I do have some other commitments which I have to take care of shortly after the bottom of the hour. But we're going to try and keep you busy for the next 35 minutes or so. We will begin this morning by asking the question, has the climate change movement died a natural death? Not hearing too much about it, in spite of this big COP conference, which they had just a few weeks ago at the start of December. Well, find out a little bit about that this morning from Sir Ronald Saunders. And then I do have a release that I want to share with you. It's from the folks down at Scotiabank. They're trying to appease, they're attempting to appease the customers, their customers. And of course, we do have the national report. And then I'm going to try and have you scratch your brain there for just a wee bit. I'm going to play a track for you, old time track. And I want to see if you can guess who the artist is, okay? Now, Georgie may have made a boo-boo because I think I may have put the name of the artist in there when I when I published it on Facebook. Anyhow, so that's it. A very brief program this morning, but we are delighted that you are with us. Okay, so let's get down to business here. And the first thing I want to share with you this morning is a column which was written by Sir Ronald Saunders, and he's asking the question: why the silence about the climate change conference which was held recently in Poland? Let me quote for you. A statement may have been made by one or more of the Caribbean countries that attended the conference of the parties on the disastrous effects of climate change on Katowice, in Katowice, I beg your pardon, and that's in Poland, back in early December. But if any statement was made, it is nigh possible, it's almost impossible, to find it, despite the considerable search engines on the internet. Yet, the disastrous results of the Katowice conference should be a renewed call to arms for all Caribbean island states whose very existence is now closer to extinction than it has ever been. In the face of the continued recalcitrance of the powerful states, even to admit the existence of the harmful effects of climate change, and their downright refusal to take the necessary action to stop it. If there is a comatose condition among Caribbean representatives, it is understandable, but not forgivable. What happened in Poland is nothing short of a death sentence for small island states. Delegates to the conference went into the room with the full knowledge that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change had called categorically in its October 2018 report for radical structural transformation, particularly as the world is patiently failing to hold global warming to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The report showed that unless the global community brings emissions under control within 12 years, there will be no prospect whatsoever of achieving that goal. Similarly put, by the time a child born this year is 12 years old, Caribbean islands and low-lying coastal areas will be confronting ravages to protective areas and habitats that could induce the flight of people from their homelands. Ralph Naganvanu, former minister of Vanuatu, was belligerent, noting that rebuilding and climate resilience costs are soaring from fiercest storms and rising seas. He is seeking to form a coalition of vulnerable nations prepared to sue fossil fuel companies to pay for damage linked to climate change. He is making a telling point. It is not dissimilar to one made recently by Professor Avinash Prasad, an economist and consultant to the Barbados government. Increasingly, small island states, which are the very least of the contributors to climate change and are its greatest victims, are being required to pay the cost of the loss and damage that are inflicted on them. Prasad argues that islands and flood-prone places are being asked to pay premiums to be insured against future losses and damage of climate change caused by others. This is asking the victim to pay by installment. If our main response to human-made climate change is to try and make it easier for the victims to pay for it, the march of climate change will press on unimpeded. But in Poland, rich countries prevented any movement on how to estimate financial contributions to support adaptation by vulnerable countries. They simply don't want to pay. The poorer nations rightly want estimates of climate finance to be additional to current development aid. They also want climate finance to be viewed more as a response to the loss and damage suffered by poor countries rather than as aid. There is good reason for these wishes by the poor and vulnerable nations. Without their fulfillment, existing foreign aid flows could easily be reclassified as a contribution to climate finance, leaving the actual amount of support unchanged. This kind of behavior was obvious at the UN-sponsored pledging conference for Caribbean countries devastated in 2017 by hurricanes. The so-called Katowice Agreement avoids the grave concerns about climate finance by not addressing them officially in the final agreement. Imagine that the one positive result of the meeting on the financing issue is that rich country negotiators agreed to revisit the issue of scaling up financial contributions in 2025. In other words, they agreed to talk about it again. Fiddling while Rome burns. But of course, it is not their Rome. And in the minds of many of their negotiators, relocating a few million dislocated and displaced people from small islands is cheaper than paying compensation for the destruction of homelands and civilizations caused by climate change. The one hope in all this is that a national climate assessment in the United States, published before the climate conference in Poland, concludes that the impacts of global climate change are already affecting the United States, as clearly evidenced by the growing number of intense wildfire seasons, droughts, heat waves, and floods that the country has been experiencing. The report notes that these conditions will worsen unless urgent action is taken to curb greenhouse gas emissions. Significantly, it states that annual average temperature across the United States has risen by 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit since the beginning of the 20th century. The costs for the United States are also high and rising. Here are some examples. Rebuilding Puerto Rico power grid, which was destroyed by Hurricanes Irma and Maria, is estimated to cost $17 billion US. Flooding in the Mississippi and Missouri River basins back in 2011 caused an estimated $5.7 billion in damage. And the federal cost of fighting fires across the U.S. ranged from $809 million to $2.1 billion per year between 2000 and 2016. The report says that by 2100, these costs could rise to hundreds of billions of dollars a year and could affect the U.S. economy worse than the Great Recession did. Given the climate report on the U.S., there should be strong allies in the states and cities where the harmful effects of climate change have been felt and are not letting up. Caribbean countries should stand up, speak out, and take a lead in mobilizing small states everywhere to join strong alliances into the decision-making councils and boardrooms globally in an unrelenting campaign for their collective survival. The only solution to climate change is to stop it. Yeah. So that's the column by Sir Ronald Sanders, who happens to be Antigua's ambassador to the United States and the OECS. Let me say good morning to folks out there. Hello, hello, hello. Ryan is saying good day, George and Margaret. Hi, Marg. Just wishing you folks a happy Friday. What a beautiful morning out there. Quiet, quiet. No cruise ships in town. But it's a beautiful view looking out over the Carnage here this morning. And Veronica Sandy's also saying good morning to everybody. And so is Anthony DeRiggs. Greetings from a rainy Brooklyn. Rain to greet the first day of winter. Oh, yeah, first day of winter. Saddle up, Anthony. Saddle up, my friend. John is checking in from parish number 7. Hello, John. No see you in a little while. I guess you missed us last night, didn't you, on McWe Chat? We did not have an edition of McWe Chat last night, as many of you may know. That's because a couple of the usual suspects were a little bit under the weather, so we sort of took the night off. But we do plan on being with you next Thursday, okay? T.F. Richard just saying good morning from a cool and wet Brooklyn. Ryan is saying climate change and global warming is happening, and humans are the primary cause. You know, Ryan, yeah, there are a lot of people who believe that, but let me tell you, there are also a lot of people who don't, including your dear friend, the Donald. Huh? Okay. T.F. Richard says, we may need to officially send a copy of that report. We may officially need to send a copy of that report to Mr. Trump. Okay, do a Google search. Do a Google search, TF, and for Ronald Sanders, and I hope you have the Don's email address. Okay. Coylan Nash is saying, "Good morning, Mr. George." Hey, George is okay, Coylan, and he's sending season's greetings to everybody. And Ryan comes back here right at the end and says, no matter how much the constraints, the contrarians try to, yeah, no matter how much the contrarians try to climate change reality, the evidence is not going away. Okay. Now, over the past couple of weeks, you've heard quite a buzz out there about the fact that Republic Financial Holdings, that's big conglomerate which is based in Trinidad, they intend to acquire the operations of Scotiabank in the OECS. Well, technically, that has to be approved by the ECCB, that's the regulatory body. But there are a lot of people who already believe that it's a foregone deal, foregone conclusion. And I guess the folks at Scotiabank are picking up on that feedback. So yesterday, they issued a statement, and I want to share that with you. The statement came from David Parks, who's the managing director for Scotiabank's Caribbean East, okay? Let me quote that for you. It's trying to appease the public, customers like you and me. I quote, "On behalf of all of us at Scotiabank, I'm writing to thank you for your business and for placing your trust in us. As we announced this week, Scotiabank and Republic Financial Holdings Limited have come to an agreement under which Scotiabank will sell our banking operations in 9 countries in the Caribbean: Anguilla, Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Martin, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to Republic Financial Holdings Limited. We are pleased to have come to this agreement with RFHL, a leading financial institution based in Trinidad and Tobago. and with operations across the Caribbean and Ghana. RFHL is committed to investing in and growing the business and delivering enhanced financial products and services that best serve our customers' needs. We are confident that this agreement provides the best long-term situation or solution for customers in Grenada. Scotiabank and RFHL will work together to provide the smoothest transition for our customers and our employees. And we are delighted that as part of this transaction, all impacted Scotiabank employees will join RFHL. Our agreement with RFHL is subject to regulatory approval and customary closing conditions. Until these are obtained and conditions are met and the transactions close, all Scotiabank operations in Grenada will continue as usual. There will be no changes to your account at this time. All your products and services remain the same at this time. We will keep you informed as the transaction progresses. If you have any further questions regarding this change, please feel free to call our contact number 473 440 3274. Excuse me. Can't help but shake my head here. That number, 440-3274. I don't know why anybody would publicize that number. For years. Notice I said years. I didn't say days, weeks, months. For years, I've been calling that number. I have to admit, about 6 months ago, I stopped calling that number. I have been calling that number over and over and over again. You know, you do your banking with an institution, and I'm not talking a little business down in the market. I'm talking about a major banking institution. And all you get, recording after recording, press this, press that, press the other, and there is no answer. You just keep being sent around in circles. Folks, yes, I'm going to say it again. 4 years. And you know something? I find that highly disrespectful to consumers. Got so bad that some time ago, I actually went into the bank and spoke to one of the staff. And she was kind enough to give me another number, which was not published, but she gave me another number that I could call if I ever needed information. From time to time, you want to call the bank and ask a question, you know, rather than jump on a bus and go on down there. Or if you have a car and you have to try and find parking, just to go ask a question that could simply be answered on the telephone. You call. So like I said, about 6 months ago, I stopped calling that number. And therefore, I was amazed and amused when I saw that number in the press release. You know, it was a real turnoff. Anyhow, the release I just read to you was signed by Mr. David Parks, who is the Managing Director, Caribbean East, Scotiabank. Woo! 25 minutes after the hour. Let me get back here. T.F. Richards is referring to what we were talking about a little while ago about climate change and Donald Trump. He says here, Madman in the Whitehouse.com. I guess that's the email address that he's going to use. Madman in the Whitehouse.com. Okay. Ryan says purchase price $123 million. Whoa! Yes, GG. Telephone tag. I don't know if you have been subjected to it, but I know a lot of people. It's annoying, Ryan. It's annoying. It's annoying. Since I'm talking about banks this morning, you know, one other thing that really ticks me off about banks in this place. You walk into a bank. You have a line of wickets in front of you. I know at least a couple of them have like 8 wickets. You can walk up to customer service agents to do your transactions. 8 wickets. You have a line of people out to the door in some cases. Take a look at that line of wickets. 3, if you're lucky, 3 customer service agents. 3. Isn't that like thumbing your nose at your customers who are there to give you their money? It is such a turnoff. And I mean, on one occasion, by the way, some of these banks have really, really nice staff, okay? Really nice staff. And so I talk to them from time to time. And I say, why are you guys doing this to people? 8 wickets, 3 agents. Why? Hey, Mr. Grimes, you know, we're actually trying to get people to get more into electronic banking. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Yes. A lot of us are slowly gravitating to electronic banking. You know, using the ATMs. Boy, one thing I like about ATMs, I could go up to an ATM and in 1 minute, I'm out. But, I mean, that's if you're just going to take a few bucks out of the ATM, right? But for other people who may be into more extensive transactions, it is so annoying to have to stand in line for an hour. Some of these people beg time off from their place of work to go to the bank to make a little penny halfpenny transaction. And you have to wait online because only 3 agents are available. Is there a banking regulator in this place? Do they give a hoot? Or are they like all of the other regulators? At least the ones I've dealt with. I should only speak about the ones I've dealt with. Anyhow, folks, it's sad. It's sad. Yeah, we're going nowhere in a hurry. Ryan says here on Facebook, I don't trust Grenada banks. I trust the credit union. E-banking for Grenadians? For real? You know, I got nothing against e-banking because, like I said, they can be very, very convenient. Occasionally, you may have to wait in line even to get to the ATM, eh? But generally, you can just walk up, choop, 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 and you're out of there in a heartbeat. But like I said, that's if you want to make very simple transaction. Anyhow, so much about banking. Margaret Francis says, not really. The reality is, why employ someone to do something a machine can do without giving the customer an attitude? Mags is thinking, as always, without giving the customer an attitude. Margaret says, I know, Gigi. Gigi go kill me. I'm not trying to, Mags. It's just a reality, you know. I just believe that you should always try to give your best. And the attitude of some of these places, man, sucks. Sucks. And I make no apology for using that word. I am sick and tired with the level of customer service we offer to the Grenadian people. And it's not just the banks. Not just the banks. You go to some restaurants, it's like you're begging them to do you a favor by giving you a piece of food. It's pathetic. So the banks, the restaurants, store clerks, we need a change in attitude. And I don't know. Let me take a little break here and we'll come on back with the national report. Holy cow, 29 minutes away from 10 o'clock.
Hubbard's, bringing you Frigidaire Christmas cheer. With the purchase of any Frigidaire fridge, freezer, stove, washer, or air conditioning unit, you get a free 3-piece Frigidaire non-stick pot set. Come into our appliance department on the Carronage and Building Supplies Grandance to get your trusted Frigidaire products and enhance your cooking this Christmas. Offer available while stocks last. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Boy, it's Christmas again. Spread some cheer and show you care with Grenlec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with Grenlec. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our Grenlec customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with Grenlec's Give-A-Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Welcome home.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, we're back. And just before I fire up the GIS report, Margaret says here, and that's why we need machines in Grenada. Again, Margaret, I'm not against machines. Love the machines 99% of the time. Okay? But sometimes you need to talk with someone. And she goes on to say here, they do the job and don't complain. Absolutely. I've never had one of those machines conk out on me, but I do know there are people who've had their cards stuck. Actually, one day I went to a bank, took out X number, I punched in that I wanted X number of dollars, okay? And boom, out comes a pile of bills, okay? So I start pulling them out, and then I hear, when I look, half of the bills back into the machine. Yeah, that's the only incident I have ever had with an ATM in this place. I'm not going to mention the name of the bank, okay? But yeah, the machine actually took the money back. So I went inside now to customer service. And I don't know, maybe it had happened before, so they might have been aware that, this was a problem. Well, they promptly took care of me, told me I had to fill out a little form and this and that and that. And I showed them the money that I had gotten and how much I had asked for. And they took care of that for me the following day. So hats off there. Veronica Sandy says, untrained employees, disrespectful people. Oh, Veronica, you've been there, eh? You understand. Yeah. Now, T.F. Richard says, these automated operators are just foolishness, in my opinion. What happened to the day when you were greeted and then directed instead of press of press after press of digits? Yeah, you had to keep punching these little buttons, leading to frustration. And then we say there are no jobs? Yeah, TF, I see your point. But you can't win them all. My issue is not machines, just attitude. The attitude, okay? Ryan says Grenada needs a fundamental change in the basic concepts of customer service badly. I have a friend here who sometimes goes down to the beach, spends some time at Grand Anse, and she likes to go on down usually when the cruise ships are in town, because you know what Grand Anse is like on a cruise ship day. Well, this past week, this woman was sitting here telling me about how she saw with her very own eyes how a vendor ripped off a couple, two people who were off a cruise ship. I'm not going to go into all the details about it, but she said she was never so embarrassed to be a Grenadian. And it happens routinely. It happens routinely. And then you hear the authorities talking about training and this and training and that and training the other. Yeah. Jail a few of them people, man. Please. You're giving our country a nasty reputation. Broad daylight. $5 for a coconut water. Come on. Hey, and it's not just on the beach that's happening. I think I've talked about this on the air before. You're Grenadian. I'm Grenadian. You want to do business with a small man like yourself. You want to help. So you go to the market. You want to buy, let's say, a coconut. Coconut might cost, what, $2, $3? If I charge Grant $6, huh? Not once, not twice. So you know what? Nowadays, unless I'm really, really hard up, instead of going to the vendors there in the market, I go into Food Line right next door. I would much rather give my little penny halfpenny to my people. My people. But they rip you off. And I'm talking first-hand experience. Yeah. I'm on a roll this morning. Anyhow, Ryan says, vicious ATM, no problem with Blue on vacation. Okay, whatever that is. Folks, where are we now? The National Report. So much, by the way, for this shortened program that I was telling you about. My other project's going to have to wait a little bit, because here comes last night's edition of the GIS Report.
Telecommunications company begins legal proceedings against the NTRC. Details of this story and more in the National Report. With the details for the news for Thursday, December 20th, I am Sherian Noel. Lime Liberty Flow has started legal proceedings against the NTRC and possibly ECTEL. During a meeting of the House of Representatives on Wednesday, Leader of Government Business, Honorable Gregory Boeing, told the nation that the company filed a complaint over the fact that Digicel has been granted a license in the 700 band, but they were not granted one, having applied at the same time. Digicel is now moving in the direction of the LTE mode of service providing.
At the point in time that the applications were made, that Digicel ended up with only the, in that special band, requested, but Lime, Flow, Liberty, that one combination, had a clash for the same frequency with ILCOM. And so they were sent, ILCOM and Lime, was sent to see how you can find some accommodation for each other. In the meantime, the frequency and the band that was applied for by Digicel, other persons were there, including Lime, but then they came to an understanding. And so since that band was free, it was given to Digicel. And now they're claiming, even requesting, that the license be revoked from Digicel, because what we were calling local parlance favoritism. But it's just to let the public know that two parties applied for the same frequency. And so he didn't want to impose the decision to say, well, you get it and you do not get it. So he asked them to go together to find a solution. They did not find a solution, but because Digicel has moved ahead, they have now filed this in court.
Minister Bowen hopes there could be eventually an amicable settlement to the issue in the interest of all.
And Digicel is now moving speedily to implement some $384 million PPP partnership, which includes data center for the government, connection for schools, and connection for all government buildings, not only in Grenada, but Grenada, St. Vincent, and St. Lucia. So, Mr. Speaker, the public should be aware of this, and we will just allow the process to take its course. We hope that nothing will go contrary to stop the big investment and the big development, because education will be affected, people will be affected in the case if we revoke the license. And we'll only do this on a court order. But we hope that everything works out well, particularly for this season, Mr. Speaker.
ANC traveled throughout the region to receive urgent attention from a new regional subcommittee. That announcement by Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell on Wednesday during his ministerial presentation at the special sitting of Parliament. Dr. Mitchell was updating members of the lower house on the just concluded two-day regional heads of government meeting in Trinidad. He said to address the high cost of travel throughout the region, leaders have unanimously agreed on the establishment of a subcommittee to immediately investigate the taxes imposed on airline tickets. Dr. Mitchell says there are too many processes restricting the smooth movement of CARICOM nationals.
Grenada reduces its taxes on tickets by itself. It won't solve the problem. We'll just lose revenue. It has to be done in Barbados, has to be done in Trinidad, every single country. And that is something that we have committed ourselves to say by the time we get to the next heads of government meeting, we should have being able to make serious decisions, so that cost of a ticket to go into Miami sometimes at present time is cheaper than going to Trinidad or going to St. Lucia. It makes no sense at all. How are we going to CSME, single market and economy, one region, and we don't even travel to each other's countries? Doesn't make sense. And cost of tickets is a tremendous hindrance to this, and the question of the availability of transport.
Prime Minister Mitchell gave the assurance that a reduction in the price of airline tickets will generate more revenue to countries. He said more people will travel, depositing more revenue in government coffers.
In the end, we will not suffer, Mr. Speaker. The fear we had that we'll get less revenue, that's nonsense. Because right now people are traveling. If the ticket price is lower, the airlines will do better, because sometimes they travel in empty seats. And the governments are going to do better when people travel in the country. The VAT you get, all the things, the taxes that you get from activities in the country are going to make up. And in any event, the more people travel, the more revenue you're going to get. So So it makes a lot of sense. I think that was well received, and I expect that we'll be moving aggressively.
The CARICOM meeting was held to address the lack of action on key regional areas and to give urgency to the implementation of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Merry Christmas from the Government Information Service, Channel 22.
A delegation from the Canada Caribbean Disaster Risk Mitigation Fund is currently on island conducting evaluations of ongoing projects to make hurricane shelters more inclusive for the disabled. The Canadian Fund has signed over 98,000 Canadian dollars to the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, to retrofit all hurricane shelters in Grenada and in Carriacou, to include ramps, bathroom and toilet facilities and guardrails. On Wednesday, NADMA conducted a tour of the ongoing projects. National Coordinator Sylvan McIntyre is elated over the project.
We see this as a hallmark. We see this as a historic event, as was mentioned. It's the first time that we are retrofitting facilities to accommodate people living with disabilities and for the elderly. We do have now some construction initiatives that are intending to include those kinds of facilities, but those that are currently existing, we have to retrofit or upgrade them to accommodate. And this for us happening is really, really important. It is really critical, and we are really, I would want to use this opportunity to really thank the Canadian government for facilitating this process. We're hoping that within the not too distant future that there could be an extension and expansion or continuation of projects of this nature.
Consultant Coordinator of the Canadian Mitigation Fund, John Wilson, commends Grenada on the increase in the number of hurricane shelters from 10 to 15. He is also happy that shelters in Carriacou are back on the list to be retrofitted.
I'm happy because we have moved from the original 10 shelters to 15 because we've made some adaptations. And initially, we were only going to do ramp retrofits, but in addition, we also including some water tanks on some shelters. And I'm happy to see that we also going back to Carriacou. Originally, when the concept was first, they were there and then they came off, but they're back on. In fact, we went to Carriacou yesterday to visit Dover Government School, where the activity will be, where stuff is going on. So I'm happy for that.
Coordinator of the National Council for the Disabled, Hilary Gabriel, is thankful for the additions to the shelters. She is confident that the occurrences of 2004 during the passage of Hurricane Ivan will not be repeated.
It is very timely because from our last experience with Hurricane Ivan, we had persons with disabilities having problems to access the buildings and not wishing, but if it so happens, it would not be the same as before. So this is a very worthwhile venture, and I must applaud the government of Grenada and by extension Mr. McIntyre and his staff at NADMA, because I can tell you it is a job well done.
A training seminar as part of a pilot project for the development of the National School Feeding Program could become the model for the rest of the region. The three-part program, which was funded by the FAO and managed by the National Authority for Zero Hunger Challenge Initiative, concluded this week. Details from Jerry Malcolm.
The impact is to meet the nutritional needs of the school children at school and out of school. Meet the nutritional needs at school that will contribute towards the growth, the development, the learning, performance at school, but importantly, to develop that formation of that holistic eating habit, to eat healthy food at school.
The implementing agency was the Marketing and National Importing Board.
What we hope to achieve today coming out of this seminar is that more groups would be formed among our farmers throughout the island, because as you know, there is strength in unity. And we hope that all farmers would have taken the lessons and the idea shared by Ms. Ferguson and go out into the different communities and form little groups or big groups that would help them to achieve their goals, which is to produce more so that they would be able to feed into the school feeding program.
We are trying to ensure that we have respective farmers' organizations that could supply the school at a regular basis. In fact, we are talking about 4 schools. In 2019, we will expand it to 10 schools, and we are hoping that by 2020, all the schools will be involved. We are speaking about 25,000 children.
The Grenada experience through the pilot project is intended to become the blueprint for the rest of the region, who will be gathering here in February of 2019.
And with this, we come to the end of the National Report. Now to recap the main story. Telecommunications company begins legal proceedings against the NTRC. I am Sherry Noel. Pleasant evening.
Okay, so there you have the national report, which came in last night. Now, while you folks were listening to and watching that, there are some comments on Facebook I want to share with you. First of all, going back to the conversation we were having about customer service a little while ago, Anthony DeRiggs says, not only the banks, but the custom officials can be disrespectful also. Anthony, the reports are yay high. Yeah, heard those. And Beverly Mitchell has also joined us. Ryan says, Ryan enjoyed my reflections a little while ago, especially about the coconut. But he says he had no trouble with the blue machine. That's an ATM in Grenville, which he uses when he's on vacation. Okay. Now, Margaret goes to town here. Margaret says, and she's referring again to the national report, KCM should be ashamed to stand there and talk about high ticket prices on Liat when he and the bunch of crooks around the Caribbean have been fleecing travelers around the region with taxes on the tickets. Margaret, yeah, you know what? And I'm sure that come next CARICOM summit, you're going to hear them talk, well, you know, we should really reduce these taxes. You know, that could be a contributor to the high price of tickets. Please, give me a break. Please. T.F. Richards says, sometimes I have to wonder. The government still has shares in float. Yet for all, they're outfitting the entities with service from the competitor, Digicel. Who's fooling who? Or whose hand is being greased? On the ball, fella. And then he comes back and says, after the MNIB fiasco, you're still putting a project in their hands. Yeah. Okay, folks. Okay. I think that's it on Facebook for the time being. Now, let me take a little break here. When I come back, I want to play a track which is going to bring back an awful lot of memories for you folks. It's going to bring back, actually, no. I'm going to get to the track before I take the break. We'll leave the break for the end, right? Just let me give you a little heads up here to an update on the industrial impasse which is taking place here in Grenada. The unions met with their membership yesterday. And I haven't spoken to them in depth, but from what I understand, what I learned overnight is that everything went well. The members gave firm directives to their unions to stand firm and make sure that they get their pensions and gratuity at all costs. And they are not to accept anything less than the 25%, which, by the way, has been a bone of contention from the get-go. Huh? You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Yes, the track I want to play for you right now. Let me see here. Yeah. How many of you actually remember this piece of music? Boy, I tell you, that piece of music brought back so many memories, so many memories. And that was done by a gentleman by the name of Mello. Love that stuff. I haven't heard that in years, and Just happened to stumble upon it last night. Back here to Facebook for half a sec here. Ryan says, this is an enjoyable morning. Ryan, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad that I've gone way over half an hour over what I had planned on doing this morning. I'm having fun. But I'll tell you, one of the reasons why it has been such an enjoyable morning is because, hey, have you noticed? The lag in the stream this morning is only about 40 seconds, which is quite normal. That's quite normal. It sure beats 40 minutes, an hour and a half. Huh? And George being George, I don't know how long this is going to continue, but I'm going to sit here this morning, look right into that camera, and say, Digicel, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm sure I'm saying that on behalf of the folks out there who are watching this morning. We have not had any buffering, at least from what I've been able to see here, none whatsoever, and my green light has remained on all the way. I think that's gonna do it. Yeah, so having said that, let me take a final little break, and then we're gonna come back here with our usual little inspirational farewell, if you will. Hang on.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company. Tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
Why wish upon a star? Scotiabank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, we'll give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Spread some cheer and show you care with Grenlex Give a Wish promotion. Do you know someone who has had a challenging year and deserves some good fortune, or a worthy cause that needs extra support? Grant them a wish this holiday season with Grenlex. Just pay your bill in full, then write their name, address, and phone number on the top portion of your bill. Add your phone number and drop it into the wish box at any of our Grenlex customer centers, or you can enter online via our Facebook page. 15 customers will receive a $500 electricity voucher for giving a wish to someone who deserves it. And 15 winners will each have their wish granted, valued at up to $1,500. What's more, 230 lucky customers will win $75 electricity vouchers. Spread the cheer this year with Grenlex Give a Wish promotion. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion ends December 21st.
Okie doke. Folks, just before we pull the curtain down, as always, I'm going to leave you on an upbeat note. Inspirational moments, if you will. Today's reading comes to you from the book of Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 41, verses 11, 12, and 13. And I quote, "All who rage against you will surely be ashamed and disgraced. Those who oppose you will be as nothing and perish. Though you search for your enemies, you will not find them. Those who wage war against you will be as nothing at all. For I am the Lord your God, who takes a hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. Friends, keep those words very close to your heart. On that note, Georgie Porgy is going to say that he wishes you a very happy, enjoyable weekend. Don't overdo it. I imagine there's going to be all kinds of partying taking place around this place this weekend. That's fine. Good to be with friends. But please, just take a look at the track record we've had recently with a number of accidents and fatalities on the roads. No need to go that way, okay? God bless you, my friends, and by His grace, I shall see thee again on Sunday morning for the next edition of Sundays with George Grant.